Alrighty, so it's been a little bit, but I thought I'd give a little rundown. I just implemented a project management tool for this finance class that I'm working on. It's hopefully going to help us streamline the project management aspect, improve our quality, and save us time. So I thought I'd first go over a couple of things. I'm first going to go over how to navigate our tool. I'm then going to show how to implement it, and then I'm going to finish off with how we use this into our process flow to build success. And so I thought I'd share this with you all because it seems kind of valuable. Alrighty. So as you can see here, we're using a tool called Asana. And Asana is basically just a tool to track a bunch of different tasks. You write it down and then you can help assign it and organize due dates and timelines. So let's start with navigating it. There's three big things that we should start knowing, and that is going to be portfolios, projects, and the task boards. So portfolios are a series of projects that we might have. Maybe we have a massive project, and this one that I'm working on is kind of big. We have this giga report, and then we are going to break it down into several units. And so I thought it'd be nice. You have a portfolio. You then have like your different units, which are their own individual projects. And as you can see, I actually just finished one today. It was a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I had to hop off stream to like knock down a bunch of it, but I can show you now. So the final part and the most important part is gonna be our projects, and that is where we have our list of tasks within each of the project folders. There's a couple key things that we should look at within each task. We have the task itself. We want to look at the columns, and then we also want to see a little bit of the details within it. And so to looking at this, we have the task description with our sections. So for example, I had to go over a business history for part of the report, and here are all the small parts we need to know. I then also am able to assign it based off of email. This one's assigned to one of my group mates. And then we also included a status. So for example, it's not started yet, we're researching it, we're drafting it, and we have a drafting phase, which is basically when you push the draft to, you basically submit it for grading, and then the big report will need to be benchmarked, which is basically when we compare what we have to industry reports and we check it with mentors. We connected with some mentors as well, because if we want to start presenting at industry level, why not connect with people in industry? So that's kind of what our benchmark stuff is at. But as you can see, most of our stuff is at the drafting research phase, because it's pretty early on. Within this, there's a couple important things to know. When you click on any of these different tasks, it's going to show the assignee. You can put in a due date and also the status, but also you have a description box, and you can even add dependencies. Now, what are dependencies? I think it's going to be helpful by showing this unit here. So the next step I'm going to be doing with my project is covering financial historicals, which is basically you compare finance ratios, prices, indexes, etc. And the toughest part, there's a bottleneck, because you got to compare the company to a set list of other companies, other markets, and that's up for debate. If you don't set that earlier on, then you can't do any of the other stuff. And so what we have are called dependencies. And so these are the market and company comps we're looking for, and they block other tasks. So that hourglass means you can't touch this task yet because something else needs to happen before that. And that's really important. It shows you timelines, it shows you quality. And to make this even more important, we even added a priority status. So this priority high shows just how important some of these things are. So we covered a lot of it. Kind of nice because now you have a clear lineage. And so let's show how to implement it, because things don't just start this way. To start, you're first going to want to create a team. You run through it, you add your people, and you're going to have what's like a research team. You just add your members, you label it, you're done. Then you're going to start your portfolio. It's going to have that. It's going to just click list. You can keep it that way, and then you're going to run through it and just make sure that you share this with everyone. So you click the share button, you make sure that everyone has access, and you can even add the teams as a whole. Everyone gets access, and then you're going to build a new project within it. So here's an example. Let's say I want to do one for unit 3. Let's just keep it simple. Let's do this one. Actually, I'm going to do a blank report. So you do that, sample. Let's do that, continue. Keep all the basic things. This is a free technology, by the way, and you got this. we're gonna have to add a few columns. One of them is gonna be single select. This is how we build that status option here. So like we do it, not started, just keep building, then researching, then drafting, and then benchmarked. And you can definitely customize it around. I like green because it's kind of a really good thing to have. You got that, and if you want, you can add a priority status. So that's how you can kind of implement it our way, where it's organized, and you can add due dates as well. But how does this actually fit into the process flow? So the way this works is this is a part of a class for me, and what I do is I basically am in class, I'm taking my notes, and usually we sit around, we do check-ins for the most part, and then at some point in the class, we're gonna hear a bunch of important information related to one of the task requirements we have. So for example, today I heard about the importance of cost structures. We heard it's super, super important. Notice I'm putting this in the description. This is how we keep it updated. So they say it should be enough to show competitive advantage, compare it to the companies, how to improve it, blah, 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 blah. And in the description box, we put in all of the requirements we might think that might be important that we hear from class. Then we go over and we look at the requirements document and we start breaking down the task. So we see, okay, the document says we got to do 2 big sections: stock price, return performance, financial performance, and I broke it down. So I'm knowing for sure that every single thing I start, I need a benchmark report. What am I comparing good quality work to? Once we find that, then I go into all the sections. And so for example, this here, we need to do absolute performance analysis, but we can break the task down even more into key statistics and then geo mean and returns. And notice how this is showing a bit of the requirements and checks that make the task considered good. You can also add subtasks, by the way, through this button. And if you check on it, you can either open it up like this, click on it, and see this as well. Usually, you finish each subtask, and then you can check off the main one. And when you do, you just click this check mark, and it's good. This is super valuable because it takes like 30 minutes of work to map out, and it probably saves you at least 90 minutes of time Q&Aing. And that's because you are quickly up to date on all the status reports, because what's going to happen is I'm going to have to go back to Unit 1 while working on Unit 2 and 3, and then slowly look at all the benchmarks, all that kind of stuff. And so being able to have the status, it's not blowing up our text conversations as much. We just show up, we check in, and we can have a scrum, which is basically when you go, I did this, he did that, she did this, and then everyone's up to date, and then we go, here's what we're doing next, and we fully know what's important and what is going up next on the chopping block. But hope this helps for everything. I'm probably going to show what I've been doing lately next.